What a busy day the aviation industry gave to us. Tomorrow will be a continuation of today's video because just so much occurred. In this video, there's coverage on Aeromexico, global airlines wanting more Airbus A380s, an Air India expansion, and also expansion at a Canadian carrier. Beginning off the bat though with global airlines, at Roots World 2023, their Chief Commercial Officer Richard Stevenson outlined his plans to acquire further Airbus A380s. Global Airlines, if you needed a bit of a refresher, is a British startup, hoping to launch scheduled passenger services in 2024 using a fleet exclusively of the Airbus A380. Backed by the company's chief executive and founder, and now Richard Stevenson, the startup has made headlines for its ambitious business and also fleet plans. Global Airlines has identified Los Angeles and New York as part of its initial route map, with operations to be based out of London Gatwick. However, the company says it has significant future ambition to begin flying to many more locations globally. Thus far, Global Airlines has acquired 4 Airbus A380s, at least per what they say, with one being visibly present through the startup's journey, sporting a somewhat simplified livery. The company hasn't publicly explored any other aircraft to power the startup. Instead, it has just stuck with the A380s, taking these on secondhand. Global Airlines has been confident that its business model is structurally sound and that they'll have no problems filling their 500-seater aeroplane one day, which, it is worth noting, the standard established carrier does still struggle to fill. However, there are notable criticisms of the company that have already been outlined. They seem to be pushed to the side by the startup. This includes concerns surrounding the aircraft and general operation, with an overall lack of understanding of the present challenges really seemingly being broadcast by Global Airlines. But any brief amount of criticism that is identified is often met with some strong comments back from their executives. Present concerns includes securing an air operating certificate, slots into these highly expensive and also, remember, restrictive airports, configuring an aircraft that needs a substantial cabin update, and so much more. It is all a fundamental part of building a business, and that is not even including actually making money and filling its planes in the long term, if it can reach a stage where it is able to get these aircraft airborne. Last month, Global Airlines announced a partnership with HiFly to speed up the entry into service. Some believe this is another step in the right direction, with others questioning what this will actually do for the long term. Over at Air India, they've announced an expansion of service towards Asia as part of their continued commitment to growth. The Indian flag carrier says it'll be introducing from the 23rd of October 2023 a service between Kolkata and Bangkok. The belief is that the connection will be hugely important to direct connectivity between the two major cities. The service will operate as AI322 and AI321, with this really being a red-eye operation as it will depart Kolkata at 10 PM before touching down in Bangkok at 2:05 in the morning. It'll eventually make its way back to Kolkata, touching down at 4:10 in the morning the next day. Airbus narrow-body aircraft will operate the service and be configured in a 2-class configuration. Air India says the flight will operate 6 days a week from Monday to Saturday, therefore Sunday will be the odd day out where this operation won't run. The Indian airline also says that its customers should be excited by a partnership with Bangkok Airways. The interline agreement with Bangkok will see the convenient connections established by Air India built upon. This includes 10 popular destinations that are accessible thanks to the Thailand-based carrier. Air India, as you may recall, is undergoing a significant transformation program, with the airline saying that it hopes to become a world-class airline one day again. The first phase of the transformation included fixing the basics of the airline. The major carrier, though, now says this has concluded. Generally, the taxi phase, as it was named, saw bringing many planes that were grounded back into service, finding talent across the group and upgrading its technology. Many, though, would still argue that Air India has a pretty long way to go before it will become a world-class airline, but having committed to 470 aircraft and a significant rebrand already, many are hopeful that it will be pushing itself in the right direction. Over at Aeromexico, they've announced an expansion of their network in 2024 towards Europe. The carrier hopes through the growth of service, it'll be able to offer customers more flights alongside more options when traveling to European cities. Aeromexico will utilize the Boeing 787 to facilitate these growth plans, and it calls the Dreamliner the most modern, efficient, and comfortable aircraft that it has. Aeromexico says it'll add 6 weekly frequencies to Madrid and 3 more to Paris, all from Mexico City. The demand for Paris is only slated to increase during the peak summer season in 2024, as the Paris 2024 Olympic Games occur. Aeromexico wants to be well positioned to meet this and believes adding services is the necessary step in the right direction. The adjustments of flights will represent an 18% increase in flights between Mexico and Europe year on year, and for Aeromexico, the increase also smashes a record set only as far back as this summer, as they continue to grow and rebuild. Generally, Aeromexico's European presence will tally 65 weekly flights to important cities such as the aforementioned Paris and Madrid, but also including the likes of Amsterdam, London, and Rome. 20 weekly flights will be present between Mexico City and Madrid. The company also says there'll be 7 weekly frequencies from other Mexican cities. Aeromexico says overall the Madrid growth is a 22% increase compared to the summer season just gone. Meanwhile, there'll be 10 weekly operations from Mexico City towards Paris, which represents a 34% growth. Over in Canada, well, Porter Airlines are continuing with their pretty exciting expansion plans, as they'll look to offer more connections towards the west from 2024. Expanding service is part of Porter's continued commitment to the people of Canada, and from February 14th, 2024, Porter will grow in the western part by adding Ottawa to Calgary. The route will be operated by its new Embraer E195-E2, and thus add another connection towards the west. Calgary will join the likes of Vancouver and Edmonton, where Porter serves. The flight will depart Ottawa in the night and arrive in Calgary that same night before having an overnight layover and then departing back off towards Ottawa. Porter does add that the introductory round-trip fares begin at $459. With a fleet of 50 in-service aircraft equally spread between Embraer units and the Dash 8, it's really hard to ignore just how important the E195-E2s have been in Porter Airlines' growth, with the company only recently announcing that it would be spreading its wings as far as Los Angeles and San Francisco, 2 hugely important US cities, and do mean that the carrier will be competing with a couple of other well-established airlines, giving customers more options, more competition, and much more. That is going to conclude today's aviation news recap. If you have absolutely any thoughts, you are more than welcome to leave them down below in the comments. Thank you very much for your support. Please do stay tuned and be safe, as there is a lot more industry coverage headed your way.
And we'll fly.